Okay. So, many of you probably, maybe actually by show of hands, how many of you have been kind of following our project for a good number of years, know that kind of have a good sense of where we're going? That's great. So we don't really spend too much time on these presentations now, kind of going through the nitty gritty details, but I do want to talk a little bit about that map because that map is what we're building. We're building a high-speed rail network or train system that's going to run from San Francisco to Los Angeles and Anaheim, right? But what we're really building is a corridor of opportunity, truly. High-speed rail will extend benefits beyond the mobility of the system, right? It is a catalyst. We've seen it the world over, a catalyst for economic growth. It helps California meet its very aggressive environmental and sustainability goals. And also seen the world over with high-speed rail networks once they come in, is that it is a kind of equalizer. It is social, it gives more opportunity to a diverse population, and it is what we would consider providing social equity to those communities, especially in our case, like in the Central Valley where we're starting our construction, right? And then converting that travel savings that you get with a high-speed rail system, what you get in return is labor market expansion, right? Providing so many more opportunities with housing, of course, expanding that, and California definitely needs that. And then it is an offer for new investment and new industries to come up and to bud in lots of new places within California. So we're very, very proud to be a part of that, and we see it as something that's going to be a monumental shift to California once it's complete. Next slide, please. So I just want to talk and touch a little bit on the delivery strategy. So I asked you earlier to raise your hands if you've been following us for a good number of years. And so for those of you that have, that this project has kind of gone through lots of different formations, but we are now at the point where this delivery strategy is actually realizing track lane and new procurements and new partners, right? This is what we're doing. The strategy is clear. It's complete, expand, and advance. So it's completing the Merced to Bakersfield initial operating segment and initiate service as soon as possible. It's expanding into those major population centers, San Francisco and Los Angeles, through the Central Valley to achieve revenue positive operation and then strengthen the foundation for the rest of the build out, for the rest of this system. And then advancing early asset commercialization. This is kind of the exciting part, at least in my opinion. Early asset commercialization and ancillary revenue strategies. We are moving and shaking in that space. 2026 is a significant milestone year, which I'll get to in just a second. Let's go ahead and go to the next slide, and I'll just kind of tell you a little bit about the numbers about where we are in construction, right? So hopefully you guys saw a little bit of that video as you were walking in of some of those completed structures in the guideway, right? It's quite impressive. If you ever in the Central Valley, you can see it right from Highway 99. We have 171 miles in development, with 119 of those under active construction or completed. That significant little milestone is really hard to read, but 100% of those parcels for that 119 have been obtained. We had over 2,000 parcels to obtain, so that is no small feat, and we're very happy to be celebrating that accomplishment. 61 structures are now complete, with 27 under construction, additional, and then the 4 Central Valley stations are also under design. And I mentioned earlier this kind of like corridor of opportunity. Well, that is already happening now. We're not waiting, obviously, for the system to be built. It is giving benefit now. 19,000 labor jobs created with what we've already built to date, right? And that number is ever increasing. Another significant milestone, which I'm imagining that many of you will appreciate, is that we have engaged over 1,000 small businesses. Hello, yeah, there we are. I think that is no small feat, and I hope that you feel like today is the purpose of today is to bring you small businesses that are in the audience and those prime contractors that are going to bid on these transformative contracts and procurements, and bring you together to get to know one another here, and then hopefully develop great partnerships and teams. 84 miles of the guideway is complete with grade crossings, wildlife crossings, culverts, all that good stuff. And then in 2026, we will be laying track later this year. We've gotten a lot of the preparation done. Our south railhead is complete, ready to receive commodities for track and systems materials. So very, very exciting about what's happening in the valley. And then let's go ahead and talk a little bit about what's coming up in 2026, these kind of milestones. I mentioned that 2026 is a significant milestone year. Just in the Valley, we will reach substantial completion of CP1 and 2-3. Again, we've already secured all the parcels for that 119, so that's a big zero there needed. 38 miles of our guideway remaining to construct, with 27 of it underway. And then 31 structures remaining, also with 27 of those already under construction. Should have brought my water up, excuse me. So a few select 2026 milestones I've already kind of mentioned, but they bear repeating. We've completed and selected a private partner to advance a co-development agreement for commercial and technical and financial solutions. That was just announced about a month ago, 2 months ago, something like that. Very excited to have them on board. Awarded our track-in systems construction contract. Very exciting. Hopefully you met some of those partners out at the table. If you did not, they are here. They have a table out in the hallway. You should definitely connect with them, see what opportunities are available for small businesses and large businesses for that matter. So it's a big contract. And then underway, solicitations for for collaborative design build contracts for civil works for Merced, which we're here for today, and also Bakersfield extensions. The Bakersfield extension is also coming later this year. And then underway, solicitation for a private sector development partner to identify and propose corridor-wide long-term energy resiliency and asset commercialization projects, also known as Cal Clean. That was also, with this procurement was released, I think it was Thursday of last week. At the same date, we also released that procurement. So similar to, actually, let's go to the next page. Similar to this slide here for resources, you can also find for Cal Clean as well. On our website, we have our M2M RFQ webpage. You basically go to our homepage, hsr.ca.gov, and then just select work with us. And then you can find the path easily enough, but you can scan the QR code. And mind you, you will see this QR code a couple more times during today's presentation. And if you didn't catch it on the screen, don't worry, we have it also out in the table area out front. At that webpage, after the conclusion of today's event, and give us a day or two to get all of that remediated and cleaned up and out onto the website, you will have the meeting of this recorded session. Also, the PowerPoint slides will also be there, along with the list of registration of those that attended. So that's a really great opportunity to kind of mine through who are those prime contractors that are going to be working or hoping to work on this project and potentially delivering a RFQ, a proposal. Thank you. So anyway, it's a great resource. We will see this slide again. And for more very detailed information about the procurement, please don't hesitate to go to the Cali Procure website. All of our contracts and solicitation documents are going to be housed there because we are the state of California. Okay, so with that, I think I'm going to go ahead and turn this over to, I almost called her Katrina, sorry, to Chardonnay, our Assistant Chief of Small Business.
Good morning, everyone. It's a pleasure to address you today. I am Chardonnay Valley, the Assistant Chief of Small Business, and I oversee the Small Business Program. My team is prepared to serve as your primary contact and resource for all your small business, micro business, disabled veteran, and disadvantaged business enterprise engagement needs throughout this project. For your convenience, our team's direct contact email is provided at the bottom of this slide. Next slide, please. All right. So small businesses are already the backbone of California's economy, with 4.3 million small firms representing 99.8% of all businesses and employing 47.4% of the state's private sector workforce. We have established a strong base of small business participation, as mentioned, with 1,000 certified firms actively performing on contracts. As you can see on the map, these businesses represent a significant geographic spread across the state. To ensure compliance with the SB, DVBE, and DBE requirements, each contract requires the designation of a small business officer. This officer will act as the key liaison for all the SB, DVBE, DBE matters and will collaborate closely with my team. Once the contract is executed and your small business officer is officially designated, my team will host a kickoff meeting to thoroughly review the specific small business requirements and expectations for the contract. The small business team is fully committed to supporting your success, whether the requirements involve hosting targeted outreach workshops or generating interest for upcoming procurements or task orders. We stand ready to collaborate and to ensure your compliance to meet all your contract objectives. Next slide, please. All right. So the authority has established strong participation goals that ensure small businesses have a meaningful role in delivering this historic project. Our small business program state goals are 25% small business with a 3% micro business carve out, 3% micro business as mentioned, and a 3% DBE. The RFQ includes language referencing the DBE goal. However, the DBE program is currently on pause while undergoing reevaluation. If you do have any questions about the DBE program, please feel free to reach out to my team. Next slide, please. Okay. So the authority is deeply committed to diversity in contracting. However, it is important to note that we are not a certifying agency. Instead, we collaborate with and rely upon certification designations issued by a select group of partner agencies, which are listed on this slide. Therefore, any business you propose to utilize must hold a current and valid certification from one of these recognized departments. The California Department of General Services, or DGS, issues the small business, micro business, small business for public works certifications, and they also manage the Disabled Veteran Business Enterprise certification. The California Unified Certification Program, or the CUCP, provides the Disadvantaged Business Enterprise. Next slide, please. Upon contract award, each contractor will have the opportunity to appoint a small business officer, your dedicated champion for inclusion, growth, and partnership with the authority. This role is more than a requirement. It is a leadership position that helps to shape a more innovative, competitive, and equitable industry. And the small business officer will design and drive your small business performance plan, ensuring your team is positioned to thrive and exceed expectations. Guide and inspire your contractors and subcontractors, helping them understand and embrace the authority's goals, reporting responsibilities, and the protections designed to support their success. And they represent organization in quarterly meetings with our small business compliance unit and actively participate in the business advisory council meetings, strengthening relationships and elevating your impact with the statewide small business community. Next slide, please. The small business officer also becomes the storyteller of your progress, preparing monthly reports that capture not only data, but the journey behind it. An annual report gives your business the opportunity to showcase its accomplishments, reflects on the lessons learned, and chart a forward-looking plan to advance small business participation even further. As your teams grow and evolve, the small business officer will also submit requests to add, substitute, and transition subcontractors. Engagement agreements and purchase orders are completed within 14 working days, and document approved change orders that align with the contract values and compliance requirements. Next slide, please. The authority calls on all prime contractors to strive not only to meet their small business goals, but to lead with ambition and exceed them whenever possible. The federal DBE actions are known as good faith efforts, and the authority small business DBE actions are known as efforts towards goal achievement. Together, these commitments form our shared vision of efforts to achieve participation. To support that vision, primes can choose from a variety of EAP strategies, each offering meaningful ways to connect, engage, offer support, and expand opportunities, such as, but not limited to, identifying work for certified firms, attending pre-activity events such as this one, advertising subcontracting opportunities, and providing hands-on assistance to small businesses. Each EAP has criteria that must be reflected in the monthly reporting. A minimum of 3 EAPs per quarter and 6 per fiscal year ensures consistent progress and meaningful engagement throughout the contracting life cycle. Next slide, please. So regarding sub-consultant and subcontractor exclusivity, the authority does not prohibit a firm from being exclusive to one offeror, but during the procurement process. However, we do strongly discourage this practice to promote maximum competition and participation. Next slide, please. All right, so finally, this slide introduces our Connect HSR vendor registry. You may have seen my team outside. They have been promoting it. They have a QR code out there. There's one right here as well. We encourage all businesses to register with this platform. It's free and online, and it's simple to use. Registered firms will be notified of contract opportunities, workshops hosted by the authority, and engagement events, helping them to understand our business processes. If you or your team need assistance guiding a vendor through the registration process, please contact my team and we'll be happy to help you. So with that, just leave you with a encouraging quote. This together, we are building more than a rail system. We are building opportunity at the scale of California's infrastructure boom. But thank you for your time today, and I will turn it over to Derek Sagehorn.
Good morning, and thank you, Chardonnay. Again, my name is Derek Sagehorn, Attorney 4 for the HSR Legal Department. I'll be talking about our organizational conflict of interest policy. Next slide, please. So all entities desiring to enter into a contract with the authority must comply with our organizational conflict of interest policy, OCOI policy. So why do we do this? It ensures that a fair and transparent procurement process occurs, that we maximize competition and we minimize exposure to bid protests that could pose a risk to the authority's program. It also ensures that we have compliance with state and federal procurement laws and regulations. Next slide, please. The organizational conflict of interest policy, that conflict of interest is defined in the policy as a circumstance arising out of a contractor's existing or past activities, business or financial interests, familiar relationships, contractor relationships, or organizational structure that results or would result in an impairment or potential impairment of the contractor's ability to render impartial assistance or advice to the authority or its objectivity in performing work for the authority, an unfair competitive advantage to any contractor bidding or proposing on an authority procurement, or perception or appearance of impropriety with respect to any of the authority's procurements or contracts, or perception of appearance of unfair competitive advantage with respect to a procurement by the authority, regardless of whether that such a perception is accurate, to be clear. Next slide. So there are two primary instances where a organizational conflict of interest will be found. One, a contractor has an unfair competitive advantage. Typically, that would look like a contractor has non-public proprietary information related to the authority's program, or a contractor provides services on a procurement that they later bid on. The second is a contractor's objectivity in performing its contractual obligations for the authority would be compromised such that it could not provide impartial assistance. In this instance, perhaps there's a contractor that performed civil work and then is later asked to provide systems or other type of work. So in that situation, we would be scrutinizing to see if there's a potential conflict of interest that we could try to mitigate, or otherwise we would find that to be an unavoidable conflict of interest. So to be clear, though, our goal is that we are not trying to conflict contractors out of the policy. We want broad participation from firms to participate in the program's contracts. So our goal when we're looking at these conflicts as a legal office is to see if we can mitigate them, if there's potential conflicts. And that when we make that determination, we memorialize that those contractors may participate in the procurement. So, but we do reserve the right to, the authority, needs to balance the interest in terms of that fairness, opportunity, against the potential, need to not restrict the pool. If a potential conflict is recognized, the policy requires consideration of numerous factors to determine whether a contractor may participate in the contract or whether safeguard mitigations may be implemented to permit participation. So safeguards are commonly applied to allow participation and include measures like ethical walls and release of work product to the all participating procuring firms. Next, I'm just going to talk about the OCOI review process internally for our legal office. We have our OCOI policy online. Next slide. I think 2 more slides after that. 1 more. Thank you. So we have our OCI policy online that you can access. And so if you have, that would be your first resource, right? Go and look at the text yourself. If you have questions, we try not to do generalized ad hoc questions, but if you have questions related to your firm and your potential procurement, we're happy to evaluate those. And we kind of have steps, right? We're looking for you to articulate what procurement you're interested in, what's your either prior scope of work or interest with the authority. And as such, that allows us to make an evaluation. Where there are program-wide contracts, such as our PDS or TSCC, where there's potential for lots of interface, we really want to prioritize that early request and determination from the firms. But where there's not as much potential risk, where a firm has never participated, advanced or pre-clearance is not necessary. We also ask that just after you start the procurement process, that you continue to participate with our rules in terms of submitting Form B organizational conflict of interest disclosure statements, so the authority can accurately track and verify any potential conflicts of interest. Finally, just next slide, if you go through the process and you want to seek that determination, we just ask that you reach out to the authority's chief counsel, Christine Cicciotti, through the legal email address listed in here, identifying what procurement you're seeking. In this instance where we have our M2M procurement, but whatever procurement potentially that you may be interested in with the authority in the future. And then to follow the steps in terms of, we have a series of questions as an RFI for those relevant or interested contractors, so that we understand that. We will evaluate internally, route that through our internal process for the chief counsel, provide that review, and then issue a determination once we kind of have all the facts and make an analysis. So those are my comments, and I just look forward to, if you have any questions about potential OCIs, I will be hanging out for a little bit. Again, I won't be able to provide any kind of written advice, but we encourage you to reach out through that legal address, and then just know that we have a certain number of OCI requests have already come in. We're looking forward to releasing those initial determinations in the next week or so. Thank you.
All right. Thank you, Chardonnay and Derek. Going through the business of how to do business with the authority in the state of California is very important, so we appreciate that. I hope you also see that it really demonstrates the authority's commitment to small businesses, of course, but also to create a fair and competitive marketplace for all of you. So thank you both for your presentations. I am going to go ahead and turn it over to Emily Morrison in just a second. I just want to say that when I was talking earlier about the new strategy, I didn't mention this really important, is optimizations, right? Like, how can we do better? How can we do better faster, right? So a large part of that effort is in our procurement strategies, right? And so we have new and innovative approaches that we are deploying. Hopefully you've seen that of late, and today is no exception. So with that, I'm going to invite Emily Morrison, our Chief of Contracting, to come up and tell us a little bit more about the strategies we're deploying with this procurement.
Good morning, everyone. Lots of familiar faces, and I see some new ones here in the crowd. And my name is Emily Morrison. I am the Chief of Contracting here for California High-Speed Rail. We're really excited to bring to you today this new innovative method of what we are looking to bring to the authority for this upcoming M2M collaborative design build procurement. All right, next slide. Okay, little introduction. As you are all aware, we released this RFQ very recently last week. Ultimately, this is going to be for pre-construction and construction services for approximately 30.3 miles of new high-speed rail guideway. And that will extend from Merced to the Southern Project Interface at Construction Package 1. All right, next slide. So a little bit about the overall timeline, kind of bringing this, I'm going to talk about the timeline within our, Go, next slide. There we go. Okay, perfect. So our overall procurement timeline, I'm also going to talk a little bit about the actual procurement itself that is going to be embedded in that initial phase that you see right there for RFQ period. So when we look at the totality, we're looking at a total 2.4 not to exceed billion. That will be the culmination of the RFQ through the RFP. Okay. So right now, this solicitation is for the RFQ stage of this procurement. We released that obviously last week. The overall timeline, questions will be due for this procurement on August 14th. We do ask if anyone has questions in advance, you are welcome to submit those early. We are working to try to provide answers on a rolling basis. So the earlier we get questions, the earlier we can provide feedback. So we will have questions due on August 14th, and the statement of qualifications will be due from offerers on September 29th. Within that RFQ period, we will ultimately be shortlisting 2 contractors to ultimately sign what we are calling as a PPCA, a pre-proposal collaboration agreement. That agreement will control through the pre-proposal period to the release of the RFP in December of 2026 to the ultimate award in 2027, where we will select one firm to complete the remainder and the construction work. Okay, next slide. So a little bit about the background. Our collaborative design build, right? The intent of this is to be collaborative in nature in this period, which will take roughly between 9 to 12 months is what we're slated. Ultimately, we will maintain strict confidentiality with the 2 design firms that are selected. So that way that you can feel confident in sharing any innovative approaches and any alternative technical concepts. Those will not be shared with the other designer. So looking overall, we are looking to utilize this type of procurement to improve constructability along with better supporting the overall program schedule. The alternative technical concepts, it will allow offerers the opportunity to submit for authority consideration changes to the requirements of the contract documents, and ultimately alternatives to certain technical requirements. Okay, next slide. Right now, the pre-proposal collaboration agreement, we have a not to exceed of $34 million for that, $17 million per each offerer that is shortlisted. The overall estimated total contract value is $2.4 billion and is subject to further optimizations. I will say, kind of piggybacking off of what Derek had said earlier, a little bit about conflicts of interest, and I think a lot of you in the room have heard me speak about this before. The authority's goal is not to have folks conflicted out of this procurement if you are on other existing procurements to the best of our ability. There are a couple folks that may ultimately have a conflict for this procurement that legal would provide a determination. So please submit something in writing to get that. But I know there's folks here in the room that are bidding on IDIQ, on any of the other future procurements. We, the authority, do not anticipate any conflicts at this time. Let's go to the next slide. Okay, scope of work. I'm going to just do a very high level overview for the scope. Our Chief of Planning and Engineering, Sunsik, is here today to go into full details. Well, I say full details, the RFQ shows the full details, but he'll give you a little bit more of an overview of what we are looking to achieve. From a high level contracting perspective, the pre-proposal period is what we will be ultimately doing is reviewing, validating, and selectively advancing the reference design. And this will include preparation of the firm fixed price proposal. And then when we move to the actual RFP, that will be completion of the design along with the actual construction portion of this work. All right, next slide. Real quick snapshot. Obviously, please rely on your RFQ for the full breakout of how you will be evaluated for your scoring. If you do have questions, I always say, please, please, please submit them. I do have the email inbox at the end that you can submit any questions. Again, submit them as soon as you have them, and then we will try to provide answers on a rolling basis. The scoring you can see here up on the board is just the general outline. All right, next slide. Okay, I already did go over this a little bit before, but again, RFQ, we're focusing on the top where we have the pre-bid conference today. Questions are due August 14th, SOQs due September 29th, and the shortlisting in late October. Next slide. And if you have any questions, you could take a snapshot of that QR code. You can also send us questions directly to m2m@hsr.ca.gov. I'm going to turn it back over to Alice, and thank you so much for being here.
Thank you, Emily. Yeah, hopefully you found that very informative. Okay, next up, we'll have our Chief of Engineering come up. Soon-Sik came to us with 30+ years in program management with large-scale transportation programs, including high-speed rail and other systems. So we're so lucky to have him. I'll go ahead and come on up, Soon-Sik. He's going to lead us through the technical and engineering portion. And then I'll come back up just to kind of close us out.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Soon-Sik Lee, and I'm the Chief of Planning and Engineering with the authority. I'm very happy to present our M2M development and the next step today. I mean, this is a big milestone to the program, and we believe that we will deliver the program within the budget and in time. So today I will discuss about the pre-proposal design development based on the reference design furnished by the authority and the expectations from the development as part of an M2M collaborative design and build project. Next, yeah. M2M project, M2M project consists of approximately 30 miles of new HSR corridor extending from just south of the Mission Avenue in Merced to the construction package 1 in Madera. The corridor traverses primarily flat agricultural terrain within Merced and Madera counties. The M2M project alignment is subdivided into north, Y, and the south segments with a 9.6 miles, 6.1 mile, and the 14.6 mile segments respectively. The project includes extensive embankment construction, major bridge structures, roadway reconstruction, drainage improvements, etc. The project corridor includes approximately 42 Type 1, Type 2 structures, along with more than 50 culverts. The project also includes 2 option works, one for SR 152 improvements, and the other for extension to downtown Merced. Detailed design for SR 152 improvements is currently progressing, and the option work will be mainly for construction. M2M project, design project started about three years ago, and the 30% design, including configuration footprint, was almost completed based on the previous operation scenario and the design criteria manual. However, before 30% design was finalized, the authority has gone through robust value engineering processes, optimized the operation and the design requirements, and updated the design criteria manual to fit for purpose and meet the best HSR international standard and the practice. Since then, some sections of M2M design have been updated as per the value engineering and the revised design criteria manual. However, some have not been. Next. The scope of work during pre-proposal design development includes the following, but not limited to: validation and advancement of the authority's reference design, evaluation and incorporation of design requirements and the DCM updates, development and the submittal of alternative technical concepts, constructability and the phasing reviews, risk identification and the mitigation planning, schedule development, quantity development, and the cost estimating. Third-party coordination through the authority if required. I mean, though we don't expect any third-party coordination as part of the refinement process. And the preparation of a firm fixed price proposal. Please note that the right-of-way for the project has been defined, and it is expected that the design development or refinement will be limited within the defined right-of-way. The purpose of the reference design advancement is to review, validate, and coordinate a targeted refinement of the reference design. Update the reference design as per the latest DCM and the operation scenario, and develop schedule risk and the commercial basis for proposal preparation. The reference design advancement effort should focus on impacted areas and key design decisions, value engineering, constructability issues, and the material quantity drivers, and the schedule critical matters and the major cost drivers. Next. It is expected that the design refinement will focus on the following areas, but not limited to: guideway width, embankment height, major viaducts, and the local road improvements. Again, the reference design advancement shall comply with the authority's current design criteria manual revision 7.1. Next. We will provide reference design at 30% design level, as mentioned earlier. Again, the reference design doesn't reflect all the changes from previous value engineering and the DCM updates. And it is expected that the reference design is validated and updated as per the latest DCM and the operation needs as part of the refinement. The reference design includes, but not limited to, track guideway drawings, roadway drawings, preliminary type selection reports, preliminary geotechnical engineering design memoranda, geotechnical data report, and H&H report. Next. The authority is currently managing the following early works activities along the M2M project corridor: utility relocations, right-of-way acquisition, and the 30% design level geotechnical investigations. These early works by the authority will support to deliver the project within the budget and in time. Next. Thank you so much.
Okay, thank you, Simzik. And thank you to Emily, to Chardonnay and Derek, and the team that supports these events. Thank you all for your efforts. One last reminder, if you want to link to our RFQ webpage, please do that. You can also find that QR code out there. You can submit questions. You can link to the procurement documents on Cali Procure. And you'll get a recording in the next day or two of this presentation, and along with the list that I mentioned, right, with the primes and the subs, and then the PowerPoint presentation as well. So with that, I want to say thank you for joining us today. We're very happy to have you here, and please continue to network and make connections. Have a great afternoon.